Welcome to Sports News. FIFA presidential candidate Prince Ali bin Al Hussein has called for an end to a culture of intimidation within the World Soccer governing body. The Jordanian FA boss is among three candidates challenging the incumbent president, Sepp Blatter, for the elections in May. At the launch of his campaign, Prince Ali demanded a fair fight and even suggested that all four candidates, Michael van Praag, Luis Figo and Mr. Blatter himself, should take part in a public debate.
Sure, obviously, there is a bit of a culture of intimidation, let me put it that way, within FIFA. But having said that, this is a candidacy for the whole world. I do know also that there are confederations who have their own elections coming up in the next couple of months. But I do believe that hopefully we will get as many votes as possible from around the world. And I'm looking at that. But again, this is a world issue and not just one of confederations.
Back home, the Nigeria Football Federation has confirmed that elections into the boards of the state football associations have been scheduled for the 15th to the 28th of this month. NFF acting president Seyi Akiwumi made it clear that the apex football body would not treat any state that runs foul of statutes as a sacred cow. He reiterated that in line with the NFF statutes, there must be no external influence on the conduct of elections into the boards of the state FAs. The Elections Monitoring Committee, headed by NFF Executive Committee member Ibrahim Gouzo, is presently going through the documents submitted by the states for the conduct of the elections, including guidelines and delegates list. Now, 26 states of the Federation are in danger of missing the deadline for registration for this year's Men and Women Federation Cup competitions. A statement from the NFF Federation Cup unit revealed that only 10 states have registered for this year's competitions, with just 10 days to the deadline for registration. Late registration between the 16th to the 20th of this month will attract a fine of 50,000 naira for the men competition and 40,000 naira for the women. Now, the grand finale of this year's Men and Women Federation Cup competitions has already been fixed for Sunday, August the 16th. Côte d'Ivoire manager Hervé Renard believes now is the time for the Elephants to fulfill their potential and win their second Africa Cup of Nations title. Renard said his team has a good balance between hard workers and talented players, which makes the combination even perfect. They take on DR Congo in Wednesday's semi-final, eager not to add to recent failures, including the 2012 final loss to Zambia, of which Hervé Renard was the coach of the Chipolo Polo at the time. Now, the Elephants, who won their only Nations Cup title way back in Senegal in 1992, faced the DR Congo in the semi-final, which comes up on Wednesday, and they see themselves as the installed favorites for the game. Harry Redknapp has quit his role as the manager of Queen's Park Rangers, citing the need for a knee operation as his reason. The 67-year-old informed club chairman Tony Fernandes about his decision. Now, Redknapp took charge of the London side in 2012, gaining promotion to the top flight last season. But then the Hoops have struggled this term and are currently 19th on the log with just 19 points from 23 games. Les Ferdinand and Chris Ramsey have been placed in temporary charge until further notice. And that's it on Sports News. The News at 10 continues shortly.
Over now to the foreign scene. The Islamic State has released a video showing what could possibly be the burning of the Jordanian pilot who has been held hostage since December last year. The video, posted online today, was distributed via a Twitter account known as a source for ISIS propaganda. Kasasbe is seen walking at gunpoint amongst rubble apparently caused by the coalition airstrikes that targeted jihadists. According to state media, he had been killed about a month ago. Muaz al-Kasabe was captured when his plane came down near Raqqa in Syria during a mission to join the US-led coalition against ISIS. Negotiation for his release had started when ISIS threatened to kill him if the Jordanian government did not release an Iraqi prisoner on death row for her role in the hotel bombings in Amman in 2005. His family is in deep grief and distress over his gruesome murder. The Jordanian government is expected to react in almost the same manner towards ISIS prisoners in Jordanian jails. Staying with the foreign scene, the International Criminal Court has ruled that genocide was not committed by Serbia and Croatia against each other in the War of Secession from Yugoslavia. The Croatian town of Vukovar was devastated when it was occupied by Serbs for 3 months in 1991. Tens of thousands of ethnic Croats were displaced, and about 260 Croat men were detained and killed. The Croatian government had alleged that Serbia committed genocide there and elsewhere back in 1991. The claim was then countered by Serbia over the expulsion of more than 200,000 Serbs from Croatia. Judge Pt.4 dismissed about both the Croatian claim and the Serbian counterclaim.
Was eventually dropped. The court concludes from the foregoing that Croatia has failed to show that the perpetrators of the acts which form the subject of the principal claim availed themselves of opportunities to destroy a substantial part of the protected group. Finally, the court considers that the series of 17 factors invoked by Croatia do not lead to the conclusion that there was an intent to destroy in whole or in part the Croats in the regions concerned.
The United Nations highest court ruled on Tuesday that neither Croatia nor Serbia had committed genocide against each other's populations during the wars that accompanied the violent breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s. Both sides said they hoped the ruling would mark a watershed in relations, long since improved but still sometimes frosty. The cases were part of the long legal fallout from the breakup of Yugoslavia into 7 states in wars that lasted for much of the 1990s and left more than 130,000 dead in Europe's worst conflict since World War II. Croatia, which joined the European Union in 2013, filed its case against Belgrade in 1999, and Serbia, a candidate for EU membership, its counter case against Zagreb only in 2010.
And the main news again. The Chief Justice of Nigeria has inaugurated elections petitions tribunals for the 36 states and the FCT and warned judges against compromise in the discharge of their duties. The Nigerian army has denied the rumor of a plan to set up an interim government to be headed by it and reaffirmed its commitment to the defense of democracy in the country. And Islamic militants have released an online video claiming to show Jordanian pilot Moaz al-Qalsabe being burned alive. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Ijong Mahuinyato. And coming up next in a couple of moments will be a repeat broadcast of our special elections program, Nigeria 2015. Do have a good night.